So, hey guys, welcome to the reality.
Or welcome back to the reality.
Today we have a very special guest. It's episode 7 already. Kind of
I
crazy.
know. So, guys, please welcome Jed.
Woo! Sunsetter.
Let's go. Episode 7, seven's my lucky number. Seven's my basketball number. So you already
Mine
know.
too.
Mine
meant
too.
Meant to be. Meant to be.
Wow. Okay, cool. So, we can get right down to it. I'm sure you've been asked this many times, but how does it feel to be part of such a diverse cast?
Oh, it felt great. I knew coming into it that we were the most diverse cast, and they said that leading up to the season. So I was super excited to be a part of that. Obviously, being a person of color, it felt great having representations of my community and representations of the LGBTQ plus community all throughout the cast. And yeah, I think with everything going on in the from a social justice standpoint in the last couple of years, it's really come to light. And I think this was like the perfect time for Big Brother to show that, Canada is a very diverse place and we accept people from all walks of life. So it was, it was super nice. And I'm very proud to be a part of that cast.
Nice. Were you always a fan of Big Brother?
I used to watch Big Brother US when I was younger, I think.
Really?
But I don't really I never watched Big Brother Canada really before. I think I may have caught a couple episodes, but it wasn't until I started thinking I was going to be on the show that I started really watching it and started to become a bit of a super fan. So, yeah.
Yeah, I was like that too. This was my first season ever watching Big Brother Canada. I've always watched the US, and it was like one of my favorite, honestly, seasons of ever watching. So it was really fun.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's kind of like the consensus that I've been hearing from people that have been watching was that this season was really good. So
yeah,
it was probably the best season, honestly.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Okay.
No,
Let's get right down to business, okay? Why did you use the veto to save Beth and not yourself? We're all rooting for you.
Yeah, we're rooting for you.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Well, I mean, being in the house, you see different things than people see from outside. Mm-hmm. And for me, the whole game was about, loyalty and putting the team before myself, because I've always been a team player. I've always played team sports, and it's always been about the betterment of the team before yourself. Mm-hmm. So in that game, that's exactly how I was playing. I knew at the end of the day, an individual wins the game, but at that point in the game, I thought it was very important that I kept my core lines together. Going into that final 5 situation, I wanted to have 3 strong, to Sean, Beth, and myself, and I wanted to get us further. So when the plan, the trapdoor was put into place that I wasn't knowing about, I wasn't aware of, I thought it was a no-brainer. I mean, I had 3 Sunsetters voting. Mm-hmm. In my head, they're not going to vote me out over Braden, right, who has been on the other side the whole game.
Yeah.
And that was the only way that in my mind, I could have kept the sauce together. So it was really a no-brainer, and I'd probably do it again, not going to lie. I think that my biggest mistake was the previous week by putting Kiefer on the block. I really burnt that bridge there, and I didn't realize how much that would have affected him. And I think that if I never did that, he would have been extremely loyal to me still, and he never would have voted me out the next week, and I probably would have stayed in that situation. So, yeah, I think my mistakes stem further back than actually using the veto on Beth.
Okay, so you don't regret it?
No, I honestly don't regret it, at all. Everyone keeps asking me that, and it's I really don't. I don't want to regret anything I did in that game, because in the moment, I thought that was the best move. So, hindsight's 2020. Obviously, there's a lot of things you do in your life that you wish you could go back and change, but in that very moment, you thought that was the right move for you, and that's how I felt in that moment. So I can't fault myself for that. Obviously, I see everything that's going on now, watching the show, and everything that's going on behind your back. I don't see that stuff in the house though. So yeah. In my mind, I was like, "There's no way these guys are gonna vote me out."
And were you shocked that they turned on you?
I mean, I was shocked because it happened, but the whole time in my head, I was like, it would make sense if they did realistically, but I just don't feel like it's gonna happen. I don't know if they have the balls to do it, just because it would be such a dirty move. Mm-hmm. But they did, and yeah, when Beth initially told me that they were flipping, and Ty was kind of going back and forth on it, I was like, damn, I didn't think that they would they would do it, but they didn't. So I was hoping to sneak by that week and just really skate by and hope that they didn't think about doing it. But unfortunately, they were smarter than that. They knew that I would probably beat them all. So
Very true.
good play.
After you got evicted, you went up to the room. Were you like surprised what was going on, or?
Yeah, I was so surprised. I mean, I walked out of the house and I was expecting to go see my girl Arissa, but I see someone else and it's saying like you're still in the game, and I'm like, what? Like, I was so confused. I thought it meant like I'm still in the game, as in jury is still technically in the game.
Okay.
So that's what I thought. I was like, okay, like I'm assuming everyone saw this sign, but no. Then I like looped around. I went into the HOH room and I was like, okay, what is going on? And then I was in there for a while. And then Tara comes running in, right. And then like my mind just clicks, and I'm like, this is 100% a fake double. Like I've seen it happen before, so that's what this is. And I was just like, yes, like this is the opportunity that I was praying for all week. When I knew that I was going home, I was like, man, like just give me an opportunity to like save myself. You know what I mean? So I was super excited, but also super nervous because in that situation, it's like win or go home. Like that's the most pressure you have. So, I mean, you're playing an HOH. Like you're not too worried about losing because you can always save yourself in other ways, but this is like a win or go home situation. So the pressure was crazy, and much respect to Tara for getting it done, because that was a crazy comp.
When you were in the room with Tara, like what she, like the way we saw it, she was telling you like, I have so much to tell you, so much to tell you. Did she end up like spilling any tea? Like, did she tell you anything?
Yeah, like she really came in like very upset because basically like the plan to get me out wasn't orchestrated by her. It was orchestrated by like Kiefer and them, right? So she was just very upset that she went through with that plan, and then at the first opportunity, those guys voted her out. So she pretty much did all their dirty work, and then they voted her out instantly. So she felt very used. So she came in like very upset. She did spill like a lot of tea. She basically told me the entire trapdoor plan.
Oh, wow.
She told me like, she told me who was in on it, who orchestrated it, who was like down to do it, like, you know what I mean, who was really pushing for it. So she just told me all that, and she basically said that if I were to get back in the house, like not to trust anybody, like they're all against you, etc. So yeah, she told me everything, and I think that was like one of our most genuine moments because both of our guards were down. There was no real game talk anymore. We knew that one of us was going, one of us was staying, so we didn't have to like lie to each other anymore.
Yeah.
So it was a good moment, and yeah, I love Tara. Like we really connect on a personal level, so it was definitely a good moment to share with her.
And then if you were to get a case, so let's say you won over Tara, who would you have lined with anyone back in the house, and who would you have put up if you like won that HOH, let's say?
Yeah, I mean, I would have put up Kiefer and Ty, like not gonna lie. Like it would have been a Kiefer and Ty situation for sure. They know that. They were praying to God that I didn't get back in. And they're lucky I didn't. But yeah, I mean, at that time, to me, it seemed like Beth was the only one that was like really riding for me in that moment. And although I know that she was in on talks about getting me out that week, by the end, I feel like she was actually like regretting this decision. And she does regret it because, I mean, she went home the next week. But I think that I would have had to align with her and Braden. Like I would have had to try. And then, cause I don't think I could have worked with Ty and Keith anymore, just because like they would have been too scared that I just like didn't trust them at all. So there would have been no going back. Like that's what Ty said. Like he's like, man, the dirt is done. Like the deed is done. Like I have to send you home now. You'll never forgive me. Yeah. So I'm like, yeah, if I got back in, it'd be hard to forgive him. So yeah, I probably would have to been like the Beth Braden situation, maybe a little bit of Keith, but I was coming for Ty though. Ty was out next, and he knows that.
Yeah. You guys had the chance to take out Kiefer, and you guys didn't. Yeah. Why did you guys do that?
Yeah.
Or like, why did you guys decide to do that?
Like first of all, the decision to put him up was basically just rooted in the obsession with making like a big move, like a flashy move. I think we were in like the final 7 situation, and I mean, Tara took herself off the block. She's the one that I initially wanted to go home, so she took herself off the block, and the obvious replacement would have been Braden, just because he was always playing the other side. But then I was just thinking, like, is that too easy? Like at that point, I thought Braden was just like an absolute floater. So I was like, this guy is no threat. So why am I putting him up when Kiefer, who has like this huge resume and like a shoe in to win, is just kind of chilling? You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
yeah. So I was like, I went to Beth and Ty, and I'm like, should we put up Kiefer? Like, maybe we should do that. And they're just like, yeah, like we should do it. Like Ty's like, yes, like that's the only move. Like we got to do it. So I'm like, oh God, it was an emotional week. Obviously, we put him up, and then after a couple of days, like my heart is just too big. Like I'm too tight with Keith, and we were like this for the whole game. So I just couldn't go through with it. I was like, man, honestly, I don't want to play I don't want to play the game like this, and like I can't send him home. So Tashawn and I and Beth made the decision to keep him, and I mean, I don't regret I regret putting him on the block in the first place. I don't regret not sending him home, but I do regret putting him up. I never should have put him up. But again, hindsight's 2020. So
Okay.
And then
Seems fair.
yeah, it seems fair. And if you, let's say hypothetically, Ty and Keith were the final two, who would you have voted for?
Kiefer, like it was Kiefer in every situation.
Okay.
I think everyone in the jury agreed that if Kiefer would have made it to the end, he was winning, like no matter what. Just like his social game was like impeccable. Like he played the middle to perfection. Like he had the Sunsetters, and then he had like a couple members of the Oddballs with him as well.
Mhm.
He had Tina and Tara in his pocket, and then he had all of us in his pocket as well. And I just think that if he would have won anything else going down the line and got himself to the end, then he 100% would have won. And then if he was able to convince somebody to take him to the end, that's even better. That looks even better on him, because like, why would you be so stupid to take him?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and in either situation, if he got taken or if he won his way, like he was winning 100%, and he knows that.
Okay.
I wanted you to win, but it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We did.
I mean, I wanted to win too, but I mean, you know, I was loyal to a fault, and kind of killed me.
Yeah.
But it's all good. It's all good. I mean, I went out.
Happens.
I went out like that. It happens. It happens. Exactly. It's a
Yeah,
game.
for sure. Who did you not want to see win?
Who did I not want to see win?
Like, who
Like
do
out
you
of-
think would have made it to the end and you didn't want to see win?
Like in the whole season, or just like at the end there, just at the final?
You can decide.
Oh my gosh. That's
Okay, at
tough.
the end. At the end.
Okay, let's do it at the end. Yeah.
It's so hard. I feel like I've really been flip flopping. Like right when I got out of the house, I was like, you know what? I don't want Ty to win no matter what. Like I don't want him to win. Like I was salty. And then like time went on, and then I was like, I want like Tara to win, or like Tara or Beth to win. And then time went on, and like as you find out more information, it starts changing, right?
Yeah.
So I think, I don't know. I think by the end it was like I wanted Braden or Ty to win. So, or like I wanted Braden, Ty, or Kiefer to win. So I wanted Ty or Kiefer to win, I would say. So that's just the other ones I didn't want to win, I guess.
Okay.
So yeah, Ty or Kiefer, I was down for either of them to win by the end of jury. Those are the two guys that I was like, I'm okay with these two winning.
If you could go back, who would you want to work with?
You know, I honestly think I should have worked with Tara. We said it the whole game, and
Should have?
yeah, I should have worked with her. Yeah. Like the whole game, we were kind of pitted against each other. I think that she doesn't like the alpha dog. Like she doesn't like that like mentality. She doesn't like. Even though I don't consider myself an alpha, but just the way I look, like she immediately didn't like that.
Yeah, she was gunning for you like the second week.
Exactly. She was gunning for me the whole game, and like I was technically gunning for her. Like at the house meeting that I called, you know, she's the only one that put her hand up when I said who said my name. Like, so instantly I was like, okay, this girl doesn't like me. But it's weird because we never got along on a game level, but on a personal level, we were actually pretty close. She really told me a lot about herself and her family and her brother, and you know, compared me to her brother who had passed away and stuff like that. So we were really tight on a personal level, and I think we have a lot of the same morals and values. And I think that if she would have opened herself up to working with people, that we really could have worked together. Like I went to her and I tried to work with her, but she said like, you know, like actions speak louder than words, like loyalty this, loyalty that. But it's like, I haven't had power until week 7, so I can't show you anything. and then you haven't had power until week 8, so you can't show me anything. So it's like, you got to just trust me. But unfortunately, she wasn't willing to align herself with specific groups or people until the end. So we weren't able to work together, but I do think we could. And she knows that. I told her in the HOH room, she told me, she's like, we should have just worked together. So yeah, kind of wish that we did.
It probably would have been a power duo, honestly. Like low key.
It would have been.
Yeah,
low key. Like no one would have expected that.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I mean,
just to switch it up a bit, Austin, when she won HOH, there was like a fear that like you were probably gonna go up with Ty. Like there was like rumors going left and right. Like were you scared that you were gonna go up that week, or like were you like chilling?
Like the week 2, like her first one.
When she first won.
Like why were you guys so scared of her? Like what was?
I was like, okay, so week 2, I was never scared that I was going up. Like I knew that I had like built a relationship with Austin, and it was strong enough that I knew I wasn't going up. Even in a backdoor situation, she easily could have backdoored me. But I knew that she wasn't putting me up. I wasn't even an option. We had been like pretty close the first 2 weeks, and we had also formed like this little bit of a fake alliance with like me, her, Beth, and Ty. So I knew that she wasn't touching me, and I knew she wasn't touching Braden. So I knew it had to be like Rohan that was gonna go up. So that week I wasn't worried, but I did start to worry at the end of the week when we pulled like that little shenanigans on day 13 with the flipping and didn't tell her anything about it. She was like really upset after that, and she was like, you guys tried to flip on my HOH, like you guys are supposed to be my alliance. Like she was pissed. Like and Austin has this like face that when she's mad at you, like it pierces you. Like I saw her across the couch just piercing me, right? And I'm like, oh wow, she is mad. So I knew that we would literally never bounce back from that, and we didn't. I wish we could have. I wish she didn't hold that grudge, because I actually think that she would have lasted longer if she didn't hold that grudge, because that grudge is what scared us. Because we're like, if she wins again, she's coming for us 100%. So like Ty, myself, and Beth, we're like, we need to get her out. And that's why it happened with us pulling Vic in, you know, making her feel comfortable, so that when she won Invisible HOH, she put up Austin, who she was supposed to work with, who she was supposed to be working with, and she got her out pretty much for us, because Austin wasn't going for Vic. She was going for us. So yeah. So that's why we were just worried about her potential. We knew that she had won some comps. She's a strong girl, and she's very smart. So it's like she has the potential to win, and when she does, it's going to be bad news for us.
When you and Ty were in the HOH room with Vic, just moving on to Victoria, you guys were like kind of like, she was kind of threatening you guys, saying like, if you don't use the veto and stuff like that, we'll put up Ty. After she said that, was that your like kind of breaking point? Like, we're never going to work with this girl again?
Yeah, I mean, the whole HOH was fishy to me. I mean, I should have caught on what she was doing. I really thought that she was like, at first I thought she was telling the truth, that she wanted to keep her out, just because, you know, Kiefer had I think he had said her name, and he said her name, that she was orchestrating the flip to Kyle. So she was like upset. So I thought that she was gonna send Kiefer home for that reason. But I should have known that like putting LaToya on the block and being so adamant about her staying on the block, you know, meant that she wanted her to go. I just should have known. And LaToya was telling me that, and I was like, nah. She's saying Kiefer. But yes, that conversation in that HOH room, when she looked at me and said, Jed, if you use the veto, I'm putting Ty up, that was it for me. I was like, okay, so you're trying to work with us next week, but you're threatening to put us up now. You know what I mean? So like, how are we supposed to work together when you're threatening to put us up and you want to be in an alliance with us? Like, how does that make sense? And she just like couldn't really answer. And like watching it back now, I'm like, she really couldn't answer. Like she had no answer for that. So I should have known, like she was just blatantly lying. But yeah, that was definitely the breaking point for us. And when we backdoored her on day 38, it was like, this is for LaToya pretty much, because you put us in such a bad situation. That was probably our lowest moment, was day like 19, 20, like right before LaToya went home. That was like our lowest moment in the game, and it was because of her. So when we backdoored her, it was like sad, but at the same time, it was like kind of like coming to her. You know what I mean? It was kind of karma for what happened.
Yeah.
Did you guys know that she was the invisible HOH? Like we saw you guys like thinking it was her, but like, did you have like a gut feeling?
I didn't. I really wrote her off as invisible HOH for the first like day and a bit, like maybe a day and a half. But once we saw the slot picks, like the have-nots, I was like, okay, it seems like it's Vic. And then we went to the ball pit after Austin and Braden got put on slop, and it was like me and Ty and Beth, and we were just thinking about it. And we're like, Ty said that like, yo, she might have the slop pass. Like, what if she has a slop pass? Because she just put herself on slop and then use the pass. Like she never ended up using it, but for some reason, him saying that just like made me instantly like be like, yeah, it's 100% Vic.
I forgot about that.
And that, yeah, like she won the slot pass in that challenge. She didn't use it, but just like him saying that made me think like this could easily be her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and then yeah, it just really hit me that the week before when we were really chumming it up with her, we were telling her what we would do if we won HOH next week. We said that we would put up Austin and Braden, with Austin being the target, and we would put Austin, Braden. Kiefer said he'd volunteer for slop, and then we put Ro on slop again. And so she did exactly that plan, except she put herself on slop besides Ro, because she promised Ro that she wouldn't put him on slop. So she executed the exact plan that we had talked about. So we should have known right away that it was her.
Yeah.
But yeah, it took a couple of days, but then she kind of slipped up a couple of times talking to her throughout the week. She'd be counting votes, and she wouldn't include herself. You know what I mean? So she'd be like, yeah, you, Ty, Beth, Keith, and then like not say herself. So I'm like, okay, why aren't you saying yourself? You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, there were little things, but she was really, really good at acting. Like,
Yeah,
she did a
saw
great job. No, yeah, you saw that. Like,
yeah,
she was mad. She cried. She did the most. Like, she did a really good job, and I don't think anyone else would have done that well. So good for her. She killed it.
And
Yeah.
speaking of slop, you seem to really have enjoyed it when you was like, I think it was like the first week you guys got slop. You were like eating it and everyone was like, oh, like was it good, I guess?
Well, it wasn't good, but you know, I'm just not the type to complain. Like, I'm not that kind of person. Like, I don't really pity myself for anything. And in my mind, it was like, listen, I made it 8 weeks without having slop at all. There's some people like Ro who have been on this for 4 weeks. Like, he was on it for like 25 days out of his 41, I think.
Wow.
Like a crazy amount, like crazy. Like even Tina and Tara were on it for like 20, 22 days, 23 days. Braden was on it for 27 days, like something crazy. So I was like, me being on it for literally 5 or 6 days, because we get a couple food parties. It's not that bad. I'm still just gonna grind it out. I'm just gonna eat it. Like, we're gonna cook it. We're gonna try to dip it in different things. We're gonna try to do as well as we can with it. So Beth and I were chilling. Like, we were eating it. We were having a good time. Ty, on the other hand, was in a dark place that week. I'm happy he got skipped the dishes, because he was going down a dark path, and you could see his ribs by the end of the week. It was nuts.
Oh wow.
So, yeah, I definitely didn't enjoy it, but I just, you know, it's part of the experience. So
yeah,
for sure.
Try to make the best out of it.
Speaking of Ro, you guys, like, I think you guys never liked them.
Yeah.
Like, why?
No, I didn't. Well, first of all, I just didn't like him on a game level. I always liked him as a person. Like, I knew that me and him would be boys, like, outside of the game, like we are right now, like we hang out. So, but in the game, it's like he was never on our side. Like, I always knew that he was on the other side. We always had conversations about like working together and, you know, having like a truce until jury. We had those conversations, but I just never believed it. Like, he always seemed like he had like a hidden agenda. Like, he was always like scheming and walking around, and he would always pace and like, you know, just be like doing this stuff. And I'm like, this guy is so sketch. Like, you know, I just knew that he was always plotting, and he was like, if he had the opportunity, he would 100% came for me and Ty.
Yeah.
So I just know that he was always scheming, and he just made me feel uneasy being in the house. So I was just paranoid at all times. So I was just like, man, we need to get this guy out. It took us like 4 times to get him out. So when Ty won that veto, it was like a weight was lifted off of our shoulders, and we're like, thank God we can rest tonight, you know. But great guy outside the house. We chill all the time. I love him. But in the house, snaky.
Okay, so what's the meaning behind the sunsetters?
Oh, the name?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, Keith came up with the name. He's a really good name maker when it comes to alliances and stuff. But basically, the Sunsetters was predicated on like the theme of the house to an extent. Like the front door had like these light rays coming out of it. The defender room was like all light rays, like it was like a big sun. The backyard was also like a big sunset. It was like a bunch of like rays of light as well. So Keith had always seen those things, and he was thinking about like sunset. And then he always just said like, we're gonna be sending people off into the sunset, like when you evict them. So that's basically where that came from. And then I heard later on in the game when we were all getting evicted, like at the very end, he was like, he made the Daybreakers. So I don't know what that. Yeah, he made another alliance called the Daybreakers with like, I don't even know who's in it. I guess I don't even know. I guess it was Braden. I think it was him and Braden, and they were just trying to get like me, Ty, Beth out because like get rid of the Sunsetters, so they're the Daybreakers. But yeah, that's the meaning behind the Sunsetters. Yeah.
You've been doing since you got out of the Big Brother house?
Well, it's been a lot of adjusting. First of all, just like COVID.
Yeah.
I honestly thought going into the house that when we got out, COVID would just be like a lighter issue. I was like, okay, we're gonna come out. There's gonna be no more masks. There's still gonna be restrictions, but there won't be any more masks. But when I came out and it was like numbers are at the all-time high, I was like, you're kidding me. Like this is crazy. So yeah, I've just been readjusting to that lifestyle again, like wearing the mask and just like being careful and everything. It's been like a lot of seeing my family and some of my friends at a distance, you know what I mean? And yeah, I've just been getting back into like my work and stuff. Like obviously I do modeling, I do my fitness stuff, like my training. So I've been getting back into that and like just trying to make a lot of content for that. And I'm just trying to interact with as many people as possible, like fans and stuff like that. It's crazy to say that, you know, there's fans, but just trying to interact with everybody, and it's a lot of love, a lot of attention. So trying to just like stay level-headed and navigate.
Nice. Would you like do any other game show or like?
Yeah, 100% the challenge, baby. I've been manifesting it, but no, I think I have to do maybe a couple more until I get to the challenge level. But hopefully, I can do something potentially in the States, because that'll kind of give you that gateway to get to something like the challenge. But yeah, I'm always open to different shows, different reality shows. I had a good time on this one, so I'm hoping that I get a call. Maybe if there's like an all-stars, you know what I'm saying? Call your boy up, get on that show. And yeah, anything else, like I always entertain it, see what's it about, and yeah, go from there. But,
like what about Amazing Race Canada? Like I see you on that. Like that would be fun.
Yeah, I haven't watched Amazing Race in a long time, but a lot of people have been saying that my brother and I should go on there.
Yeah.
That'd be really fun. So if there's an opportunity for that, 100%. I'm just trying to get myself out there and just try a bunch of new things. So
fun.
Always open to it. Yeah, just not Survivor, because I feel like I would actually starve to death. So
Survivor.
Yeah,
I would never either.
Yeah, me neither.
No, I can't do it. Like you can't work out there either. So that's crazy.
What was your favorite comp?
Okay. My favorite comp was definitely the Expedia, like the Veto. Obviously, like I won it, which is awesome. I won a trip, which was awesome. It was just so cool. Like it was such an elaborate setup, and it was like the most elaborate thing I saw in the backyard the whole season. So it was really cool. And then like obviously having our family members take part in that was just like such a surprise, but also like awesome because you haven't seen your family in so long. So just like seeing them on the big screen was like surreal. And yeah, so that was 100% my favorite challenge.
Nice. And what was your least favorite?
Least favorite. I just hated the booth. So like probably like the double eviction, the before and after. I think I got like one. I went like 1 for 5. Like I was just not in the headspace to do that at that point. It was such a flustering moment. But yeah, it was definitely the before and after. Like I don't do well with that kind of stuff. So
okay.
I don't like. There's a lot of booths this season. I wasn't a huge fan of it, but I mean, yeah, that's a talk for another day.
Well, cool. I'm probably gonna sit here after we get off, and I'm gonna be like, I want to say this. So now I'm gonna be all upset. I don't remember anything.
You can add it in after. You can like hit me with a DM and just like throw it in after.
All right,
Yeah.
bet. Thank you so much for being on with us. We really appreciate it.
Yeah,
problem, guys.
honestly.
Yeah, thank you.
No problem. I like what you guys are doing here.
Yeah, then we had
Yeah,
time.
I watched Time, Beth. Yeah,
Oh, nice.
yeah.
Thank you for
cool.
watching.
Yeah, I had to prepare myself. Just didn't know what you guys were gonna be grilling me with. So
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Of course.
had to prepare.
yeah, for sure. It's
Always
good.
do your studying. Always do your studying.
Right.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much. Bye, guys.
See you guys.